can imagine what it is like for them, because I have already internalized what it is or what it does to me or parents or mothers in general. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you took the time to join me today. I know a lot of mothers probably want to hear about this as well. It's my weaning experience. The things I believe I could have done differently that would have made the process a little bit easier. And I'm going to be sharing these so that they can probably help somebody else. I know that each experience is different, but sharing your experience may very well help someone as well. So stick and stay as we talk about this. Alright? Thanks for joining me. I'm Shadelle Kedene. The first thing I think I perhaps should have done differently was to ensure that my daughter was out of my bed sooner. She's 2 now and she still sleeps with me. She still sleeps with us. I mean, I have mixed feelings about that because they grow so fast. In no time they'll be off to school or and so we get caught up in, well, I got caught up in wanting to cherish those moments so much that I'd almost literally pushed aside the importance of also nurturing independence. So I'm not a parent who believes in shoving certain things on the child, and certainly not her dad. If it were up to him, she probably would not ever leave our bed, which is scary and which is not encouraged. Let me just put that out there. I don't encourage that. I believe that there's a time for everything, and at the end of the day, you have to still ensure that you are looking out for your relationship, looking out for your personal well-being as well. We know that at a point your child will definitely be leaving, but try to find that middle ground, try to find that perfect way for you that works when it comes to your child going into his or her own space, whether it be their own bed, even if they're in the same room for whatever reason, because we know for financial reasons for some persons or for whatever other reasons they may still have to stay in your room. But if possible, get them into their own bed. All right, so that's probably the first thing I think I could have or should have done differently in order to make this weaning process a little bit easier, a little bit more seamless. I have tried doing it. I've put her in her bed, and then in the middle of the night she will wake up and cry down the place wanting to come beside us. And I could probably let her cry it out, which is probably something I'm going to have to try, but I'm taking my time. And I'd also say to any parents out there, give yourselves grace. Don't be too hard on yourself, but try to find that system that works for both of you. The next thing too, that I wouldn't really call it a regret, but that has perhaps played a role in this as well, is the fact that I'm home with her. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and so she has me in her space 24/7. Every cry she cries, I'm right there. So that sort of makes it a little bit more difficult for the weaning process to take place. And so 24/7 I'm at her beck and call. So even though I believe she understands that this is happening, as in I've explained to her, alright, Zuri, no breast, she will come by and she will try to put her hand in my clothes and say, Mommy, no breast, with a smirk on her face. So I know she sort of understands what's going on, but when she really, really needs some sort of soothing, or when she's not feeling well, or when she's sleepy, she comes over and she literally sometimes fight me for it. It's crazy. And then the danger in that is that at 2 they're much stronger and smarter, and then something they've come to know to be their source of almost everything their source of well-being, physically, mentally, emotionally, even before they understand what nursing really represents. And then at this point in their lives, not to be told that, you know, you can't do this anymore. Whoa! I can imagine what it is like for them, because I have already internalized what it is or what it does to me, or parents or mothers in general. So, you know, I won't even go into the mental part of it when it comes to how the mother deals with it, but how, first of all, you find that system to really successfully wean your child. So being home really doesn't make it any easier. It makes it a lot harder. The fact that I'm home with her. You know, as a Jamaican and as a country girl, naturally, there are a lot of remedies that have been shared, like put Cinco Bible on it. You probably don't know what Cinco Bible is. I'm gonna mix up the names. I believe there's aloe vera, but I'll insert a photo so you can have an idea of what I'm talking about. But it's really, really bitter. And so I'm being encouraged to put it on my breast, and then I guess, but for me, I'm creating this traumatic experience, and I really don't want to do that. I think the most traumatic I will get is probably let her cry. Yeah, I think the most traumatic I will get is to probably let her cry. And you know, they said this thing about them crying it out. You do what works for you, I do what works for me. I'm not saying I won't let her cry it out, but I don't know that I can put anything on it to really. No man, I don't think we can do that. No. Whoa, help, send help. But that's the next thing. My interpretation of those draconian measures, I don't think, boy, I don't know if we can do it. Put bitters on it. I don't know. I don't know. I'm planning to take some time for myself and to finally take the first night, at least a night away from her. I don't know that one night will do, but it's a start. Right now she's on the road. She gone on the road with her daddy and my mommy, and of course we did miss her when she just gone. I mean, but she's surviving. I know that. I know that. The crazy thing about it is that even at 2 years old, I still produce milk. Like, of course, naturally not as much as before or as the earlier months, but I still produce milk, and so it tends to get, I'm not sure if it is engorged really, but it fills up still when she's not around. But I mean, this is a start. It is a start. But yes, because of my interpretation or acceptance of draconian measures like the traditional methods with Jamaican, my grandmother keep telling me, put this Inco Bible by your breast. I do believe it is time to wean her, but I'm getting there. I'm working on it. So that's the other thing, my interpretation or acceptance of the methods by which, you know, you can wean your child. I can't really wrap my head around it yet. Weaning reminds me of the fact that she's growing up. I don't get the word from God yet to say I'm going to bear fruit again, or I'll bear another fruit or few. So for now, she's my baby. And weaning just represents that. It's like it really is like a confirmation that the baby's not a baby anymore. Listen, this girl chat like parakeet. She talks a lot, she's grown, she's very mature, she's very intelligent, she's smart, she uses her sentences, her expressions. And so it is a lot to really process to say. It's like a woman child. But then when she needs to nurse, when she just, you know, she just reminds me that she's still a baby, she's still my baby. And so weaning represents or reminds me of the fact that she's growing up, and I hate it. I hate it, like, I hate it. And you know, for a lot of mothers, without getting too deep into the psychology of breastfeeding, which is deep, nursing, breastfeeding really represents so much where bonding between mommy and the child is concerned. There have been really, really dark days over the past 2 years for me. I know I'm not unique. I know for a lot of mothers, and for me, being able to bond that way, to being able to almost literally connect with her in that way over the past 2 years has really served me so well, has really helped me to cope. As I said, this is a convo for another day, but trust me, being able to know that there's somebody who depends on you for almost literally everything, and even without, you know, getting up to go and do something, by simply just allowing them to connect with you, to rest their heads on your bosom, that almost literally completes them in that moment, in that time. It is just something that's phenomenal, and that's, I'm not able to really explain it fully, what it really does and how much it really means. And to know that that's coming to an end. Whoa, I know I really get deep right now, but let me just back up. So yes, weaning just reminds me of the fact that, yeah, they're really coming out of that infant or baby stage. They're really toddlers now, and you have to just accept that and help them understand as well, because they're not going to just easily understand. Perhaps the next thing I'd say, or the next thing I'd speak to, is the fact that we never got a high chair for her ever. No, we've always held her or put her down to wherever we're eating to sit and eat. Even if we're around the table and she wants to put the plate on the chair sometimes, but outside of that, she is really all over the place, which is something I'd probably discourage. So if I were to speak to, you know, baby items that I think are really necessary, I'd say a high chair is, we never really got one. We never got a high chair, so that from as early as those few months when they're introducing solids initially, they're used to, whenever it's food time, they know they're going to their high chair to sit down and have their meal, and they're strapped down, you know, until they get to the age where you don't necessarily have to strap them down. So I think that's the other thing I'd probably would have done differently, would be to have gotten that high chair. So not having the high chair, I believe, lessens the chance of, you know, the high chair would have sort of added to the discipline process, if you get what I mean. Yeah. So not having a high chair, I think, would be a regret, or something that have slowed down the weaning process, because she loves to eat, you know, she loves food, she loves her plate, especially when her dad feeds her, she eat off. When it's me, you know, and she knows she have the breast, so that's for another day. But yeah, so she would have, I believe, developed a greater love for mealtime, independent mealtime. Not fully independent, but you know what I mean, you know. It's mealtime, alright, so I'm going to my chair, I'm going to have my food, and she would have been a bigger eater. The other thing now I would say is that I probably should not have given up. So I haven't given up 100%, you know, but initially when I started out to say, alright, no breast, I'm going to be doing this, let's do this, Shadelle and Naya, you can do this. And then when it come to a point where I say, no, Sam, I can't do this, it's too hard. And I am giving myself grace, but I want to remind myself today that I need to stick to it, you know. So yeah, sticking to it, not giving up. In addition to the high chair, or not having the high chair, or what the high chair would have also helped with, is reducing the distractions. So everything is happening around her, she's all over the place, running up and down. When it's her dad though, she sits. Sometimes when it's me, she sits, but sometimes I'm just not having the brain power for running her down. So reducing distraction, turning off the TV. She don't really watch TV and eat, really, no. Unless we are watching something and eating, which I'm realizing really doesn't help with reducing distraction for her. So yeah, not having the high chair, reducing distractions, yeah, I believe sort of hampers the process, you know. Yeah, as soon as I find the remedy, my remedy, I'll share it. But just give yourself some grace, moms. Give yourself some grace. Try to find it. You can take advice from other persons, fine, but try to find what works for you and the baby. Go easy on yourself. Don't pressure yourself, you know. So even amidst the number of points that I've made in terms of things I believe we could have done differently to make this process easier, we're still going at it, so we're not giving up. still trying to create that process that works for us, that's unique for us, and we're still giving ourselves grace. And I'm working with Naya, we're working with her, you know. Yeah, I know we're ready. I'm ready. She's ready. Getting there. So chin up, mamas, and just keep at it and find what works for you. Enough love. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.